So last year, the Indianapolis Colts were oh so close, but just not quite enough, because 2023 initially was supposed to be about the development of rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson, who looked pretty good in the games that he played. Unfortunately, he also got injured in those games that he played, every single game, which is pretty rough for a rookie quarterback. And eventually, he got lost 5 games in that he played because of a shoulder injury that he suffered. He had a lot of promise if he had played for the rest of the season, but unfortunately, he just got banged up in every game that he played, which is rough. It's rough for a Colts team that really wanted to see what they had in him. But despite losing him, though, the Colts managed to stay in contention, surprisingly, for both a playoff spot and the division until the very end. But like I said, they were just oh so close, but just not enough. They fell just well short in a Week 18 elimination game to the Texans. Just a dropped pass on 4th down by Gardner Minshew and his receiver, which was really rough to see. But hell, the future's still bright for this team, nonetheless. Now that Anthony Richardson is in full control of this team, we're ready to see what he has with a full season, hopefully, ahead of him. But yeah, it'll be interesting how that goes. So looking at the things that happened this past offseason and what they were going to do to prepare Anthony Richardson for the season that is to come, they mostly made some in-house moves, which is not a bad thing per se, because they extended guys like Michael Pittman Jr., DeForest Buckner, Zaire Franklin. They gave him that money. They kept them around for however long they are. And they also re-signed key players like edge rusher Tyquan Lewis, Kenny Moore at corner, linebacker Ronnie Harrison, and safety Julian Blackmon. Several key players on that defense, they're back in Indianapolis. So all those key guys, they're sticking around. And, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So clearly the goal is set for these Indianapolis Colts. They were close, very close at the end of last season, but now the goal is in sight. You got to try and earn a playoff berth, especially with your quarterback hopefully fully healthy, but you got to keep him healthy. So looking at some of the moves that the Colts made this past offseason, the other moves that they made, honestly, they didn't really do a lot, but at the same time, they didn't have to do a whole lot, if we're being honest, because they didn't lose any notable people other than Gardner Minshew, but then they ended up replacing him with Joe Flacco, who had a surprising late season stretch with the Browns. And then they also added Raekwon Davis from the Dolphins. So Davis could be a key rotational piece in their already solid defense. But when you look at the draft, that's when they did their dirty work, getting one of the top edge rushers in the draft class, like Latu from UCLA, and then getting another receiver for Anthony Richardson and Adonai Mitchell from Texas, and then getting him more protection, like Matthew Goncalves from Pittsburgh and Tahor Bartolini from Wisconsin. So looking at this Colts past offseason, Anthony Richardson, he has pretty much almost all the tools at his disposal. The protection up front is going to be a little bit better, if not more better than it was the previous year and the quarterbacks that preceded him. So when you look at it, the Colts did pretty much everything to improve this team and keep everyone around. So now it's going to be on Anthony Richardson to take a big leap that he was supposed to have last year. So Mitch, like when you look at the additions, like Adonai Mitchell, he has serious upside in a receiver room that's already loaded with Michael Pittman Jr., Alec Pierce, and Josh Downs. And then again, with the protection on offensive line, there's so much depth there. It's so stacked and skilled at every position. And then defensively, it's already a good defense. They just need to add a couple more pieces in there, and they're set. Especially in the pass rush, it's already pretty deadly over there. So it is going to be on Anthony Richardson to take the steps necessary that's supposed to take last year and hopefully be the quarterback that the Colts are looking for, why they drafted him. So looking at some of the key games for the Indianapolis Colts this season, it starts week 1 at home against the defending division champions, the Houston Texans, who in their right are going to be looking to down the Colts very early on in their game. So it should be a fun one in week 1. And then right after that, they go face Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers in week 2. Another interesting contest there outside of the conference. And then week 5 and 6 is another interesting test for Anthony Richardson and the Colts. They go to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars, and they go to Tennessee to take on the rebuilding Titans. So some early division tests in the first month of the season. So they can easily go 3-0, a surprising 3-0. They can do a split, or they can easily fall behind. So it's going to be interesting how these Colts go. So obviously my questions around this team surrounded around the quarterback, Anthony Richardson, because Anthony Richardson showed a lot of promise. He has a good arm. He's pretty smart with the football, but there's one thing that I cannot let him get away with, and that is his decision making on protecting himself. He is not good. He always is not good with protecting himself. He just, I guess it's his own instinct of letting himself be like Lamar Jackson. I'm just gonna run the football, or let himself be like Trey Lance. I'm just gonna go on these designed runs or off the script runs, and then go from there. Even though he has a deep offensive line that's clearly gonna protect them, but damn, that's the reason why he got hurt, because he just lets himself be a punching bag for a lot of defenders. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but when you get hurt, when you get concussed, and then you end up getting your shoulder hurt, that kicks you out for the rest of the season, it's not good for you. It's like it makes you think to other people that you're injury prone, which sucks. And I don't want that for him because he has a lot of potential. So I'm hoping that this coming season for Anthony Richardson, there's going to be less reliance of him running the football. I mean, there has to be a healthy balance to keep him from getting hurt. And hope that Shane Steichen, head coach, realizes that. Because that led to him getting hurt in every single game that he played. Because, you got to keep him away from injury, and that's going to be key to his development and keeping the team competitive all season long. So for the Colts, they're deep. They're a deep, underrated team that were just a quarterback away from making the playoffs last year. Gardner Minshew did fine for them. He did pretty solid for them, but it's just that one fourth down play that stopped things in their tracks. So who knows? Maybe they can make good on their promise this year, despite a tough slate to start the year. But a lot of that's going to depend on Anthony Richardson and whether he continues to progress well as the Colts' long-term quarterback. If he does, we can be looking at something pretty interesting down in this indie promotion with the Colts.